The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is making another trip to the White House as speculation over the prospect of the US or Israel bombing Iranian military facilities. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran is in Jerusalem.
Despite having a war at home to contend with, one which has recently expanded with more military operations on the ground in Gaza and Israeli plans to seize large tracts of land across the territory, the Prime Minister is still abroad, this time heading to the United States. Benjamin Netanyahu has spent the last 4 days in Hungary, seeking support from the country's far-right leader Viktor Orban, and getting such backing in the form of Hungary announcing plans to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, which issued an arrest warrant against Mr Netanyahu for alleged war crimes in Gaza. The Prime Minister's visit to the US is his second since the start of the year, his office saying he wants to speak to the President Donald Trump about tariffs imposed on Israeli products, despite Israel hastily removing all tariffs on US products hours before President Trump's Liberation Day announcement, in a failed bid to avoid such measures from the White House. The war in Gaza will also be on the agenda, with some Palestinians fearing Mr Netanyahu is effectively seeking permission from President Trump to go even further than he has done already. Israel resuming its bombardment of Gaza 3 weeks ago, hundreds killed in the days since, and Israeli officials are regularly referring to the implementation of the Trump plan for Gaza, resettling Palestinians outside the Strip before any rebuilding begins. But one other thing on the agenda will be the topic of Iran. President Trump says Iran needs to negotiate on the issue of its nuclear program or risk being bombed, with President Trump going so far as to write to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, about the issue. Now, Iran has rejected that and it's gone a step further, warning some other countries in the region that if they are involved in any mission by the United States to bomb the country, they will face the consequences. So, for example, if they were to allow US fighter jets and bombers to use military bases in their countries, they will be seen as undertaking and carrying out an act of hostility against Iran. One of the real issues here, and one of the things to keep an eye on, will be the behaviour of Israel, with many suggesting that Benjamin Netanyahu may go it alone if he sees or thinks that there is not enough progress being made on any negotiations between Iran and the United States on that nuclear mission. And we know that in recent days we've seen reports the United States has been trying to bolster Israel's air defences, moving anti-missile systems into the country here just in case there's any retaliation from countries such as Iran.